My name is Rebecca Carter, and I'm 28 years old. Let me tell you about the night my entire world crumbled over turkey and cranberry sauce. Picture this. I'm walking into our family dining room, candles flickering like they're trying to warn me of something. The smell of roasted turkey fills the air, silver forks clinking against good china, and everyone's wearing these picture-perfect smiles that don't quite reach their eyes. You know the kind I'm talking about. My parents, Margaret and Richard, are sitting at the head of the table looking smugger than cats who've caught a canary. My sister Jessica is there too, practically glowing with this fake happiness that makes my skin crawl. Something's off, but I can't put my finger on it yet. That's when Dad clears his throat, adjusts his tie, and drops the bomb that would change everything. Rebecca, honey, we've got some exciting news. Tomorrow, we're moving into your new house. My fork hits the plate with a metallic clang that echoes through the suddenly silent room. Moving into my house, the house I'd worked double shifts for 3 years to buy, the house I'd signed the papers on just last week. I feel my hands start to shake as the reality hits me. They weren't asking for permission. They weren't even asking at all. They raised their glasses in a toast, and I realized they weren't asking. Let me take you back so you understand exactly what this house meant to me. 3 years ago, I was pulling 16-hour shifts at Mercy General Hospital as a nurse, while Jessica was getting promoted at Dad's law firm and Mom was planning her garden parties. I was changing bedpans at 3 a.m. and saving every penny I could scrape together. You want to know what sacrifice looks like? It's eating ramen noodles for dinner while your sister posts Instagram photos from expensive restaurants. It's wearing scrubs with holes in them while your parents buy Jessica a new BMW for her birthday. It's watching your family treat you like the hired help while they hand your sister opportunities on a silver platter. Every week I'd transfer money into my house fund. 500 here, 300 there. I had receipts for everything. Coffee shop tips I didn't spend, movie tickets I didn't buy, dates I didn't go on. I was like a monk. But instead of seeking enlightenment, I was seeking independence. The day I finally signed those mortgage papers, my hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold the pen. The realtor, Mrs. Patterson, smiled at me and said, "Congratulations, Miss Carter. You should be proud. Buying a house at 28 on a single income is no small feat." But it wasn't just about the mortgage payments or the property taxes. This house represented everything my family had never given me: respect, independence, a place where I belonged. It was supposed to be my sanctuary, my escape from years of being treated like I was invisible. I remember the moment I got those keys. Standing on the front porch of 1247 Oak Street, holding that cold metal in my palm, feeling like I'd finally won something. Finally proved I was worth more than their dismissive glances and backhanded compliments. The house was modest: 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a small backyard perfect for a garden. But it was mine. Every squeaky floorboard, every paint chip on the windowsill, every imperfection was something I had earned. But that night, as I held the house keys, I found a sealed envelope tucked under the welcome mat. My hands trembled as I tore open that envelope. Inside were things that shouldn't exist: photocopies of old journal entries, typed notes on letterhead I didn't recognize, and a property deed draft with my name scratched out in red ink. But it was the journal entry that made my blood run cold. Dad's handwriting clear as day. The Carter name must be preserved at all costs. Margaret agrees. The family legacy can't be diluted by Rebecca's independence. Even if it means sacrificing Rebecca's future, we have to maintain control. Jessica understands the plan. The plan. They had a plan. I sank onto my couch, staring at evidence that my own parents had been scheming against me. How long had they been watching, waiting for the perfect moment to swoop in and take what I'd worked for? But here's the thing about being underestimated your whole life. You learn to think 3 steps ahead. If your family ever treated you unfairly, drop a in the comments. I need to know I'm not alone. See, I'd suspected something like this might happen. Call it intuition, call it paranoia, but I knew my family well enough to prepare for the worst. 3 months before I even closed on 1247 Oak Street, I'd quietly purchased a second property across town, a small duplex that nobody knew about. And here's where it gets interesting. I'd installed hidden cameras throughout the Oak Street house. Tiny ones, professional grade, streaming directly to my phone. If my family wanted to play games, I was going to document every single move. The cameras were my insurance policy, motion activated, night vision, audio recording, the works. I'd told myself it was just precautionary, that I was being paranoid. But looking at Dad's journal entry, I realized my paranoia had been justified. I pulled out my phone and opened the camera app. Time to see what my loving family had been up to since I'd given them my spare key last week. You know, just in case of emergencies. The footage from the past 3 days was eye-opening. Mom going through my dresser drawers, Dad measuring the living room with a tape measure, Jessica taking photos of every room like she was planning a renovation. They'd been casing my own house, planning their takeover while I was at work saving lives. But the most chilling moment came from yesterday's footage. I watched Dad standing in what he probably thought would be his new office, talking on the phone. Don't worry, she'll have no choice but to accept it. Where else is she going to go? I hit play on the footage I'd hidden, and someone else was already inside my house. The timestamp read 2:17 a.m. A shadowy figure moved through my kitchen, but the image was too grainy to make out details. Whoever it was knew exactly where to look, checking behind picture frames, opening drawers with surgical precision, like they were searching for something specific. Then I caught it. A flash of silver on their wrist, a distinctive bracelet with what looked like a medical charm. I'd seen that bracelet before, but where? Time for a little test. I crafted a fake note on my computer, something that would bait whoever was watching. Meeting with lawyer tomorrow at 3 p.m. to discuss transfer of property rights. Bring all documentation. I printed it, drove to the house, and left it prominently displayed on the kitchen counter where my cameras could see it clearly. If someone was watching, they'd take the bait. But why wait for the big reveal? Jessica had been spreading rumors around the neighborhood that I was too unstable to own property, telling people I'd been struggling financially. Time to return the favor. I happened to know that Jessica had been telling everyone she'd been promoted to senior associate at Dad's firm. But I also happened to know she was still just a paralegal. I'd seen her pay stubs when she'd left her purse open at last month's family dinner. A quick, anonymous post in our neighborhood Facebook group. Congratulations to Jessica Carter on her promotion to senior associate. So inspiring to see someone achieve their dreams. Then I sat back and watched as people commented, asking which firm, what kind of law, how exciting. Jessica would have to either lie publicly or admit she'd been exaggerating. Either way, her credibility would take a hit. Small victories, but they felt good. I texted my parents the address and waited to see who would show up. Saturday morning, 9 a.m. sharp. I'm watching through my phone screen as a moving truck pulls up to my house. My parents climb out of Dad's Mercedes like they're surveying their new kingdom. The audacity is breathtaking. Mom's wearing her "I'm doing charity work" outfit. You know the one, designed to look humble while screaming expensive. Dad's got his weekend casual look going, but he's walking around the property like he's already mentally rearranging the furniture. And there's Jessica, playing the role of supportive sister. Carrying a housewarming plant like this is some normal family milestone instead of outright theft. I watch them unlock my door with my spare key and start bringing in boxes. Boxes? They'd already packed their belongings, already made the decision that my house was theirs. The entitlement is suffocating, even through a phone screen. Mom immediately starts rearranging my living room. She moves my reading chair, the one I'd saved up 3 months to buy, into the corner like it's an afterthought. Dad starts taking inventory of my pictures on the mantel, making little disapproving noises at my choices. "We'll need to redecorate," Mom says to Jessica, loud enough for the cameras to pick up. Rebecca's always had such simple tastes. Simple tastes. Translation: poor people decorating. But then something interesting happens. While Dad and Jessica are hauling boxes, Mom slips into my bedroom alone. I watch her approach my dresser, where I keep a small collection of family photos from childhood. She picks up an old picture, one of me as a baby that I'd always treasured, and instead of just looking at it, she carefully removes it from the frame and slips it into her purse. Why would she steal a photo of me as a baby? What could possibly be valuable about that picture? Jessica bounces back into frame, all fake enthusiasm. "Mom, I found Rebecca's spare bedroom. It'll make a perfect guest house when she visits." Guest house, in my own home. Dad chuckles. She should be grateful we're keeping her around at all. Most parents would have cut ties by now. The cruelty in his voice is casual, like he's commenting on the weather. This isn't just about the house. It's about power, control, making sure I never forget my place in their hierarchy. I'm recording everything, taking screenshots, building my evidence file, but watching them desecrate my sanctuary is torture. Then Dad opens a drawer in what used to be my home office, and his face changes completely. They opened a drawer and discovered a suitcase with my name sewn into the lining. I had to see this for myself. Monday morning, I called in sick to work and drove to Oak Street. My hands are shaking as I pull into the driveway, but nothing could have prepared me for what I found. The front door is ajar. Not wide open, just slightly cracked, like someone left in a hurry. I push inside and my heart stops. My house, my beautiful, carefully organized house, looks like a tornado hit it. Couch cushions thrown on the floor, drawers pulled out and emptied, my carefully arranged bookshelves swept clean. Even my kitchen cabinets are hanging open, contents scattered across the counters. This isn't the work of my parents. This is something else entirely. I follow the trail of destruction through the hallway, my footsteps echoing in the unnatural silence. My bedroom is the worst. Mattress flipped, dresser drawers completely removed, even my closet rod torn down with all my clothes in a heap. Someone was looking for something specific. But what? That's when I notice the basement door is open. I never go down there. It's just storage space and the water heater. But there are footprints in the dust on the stairs, and a dim light is flickering below. My phone flashlight trembles in my hand as I descend. The basement smells different. Not just musty, but like someone's been spending time down here, fresh cigarette smoke, and something else I can't identify. And there, on the concrete wall in thick black marker, is a message that makes my blood freeze. Rebecca, you don't know who your real family is. I stagger backward, nearly falling up the stairs. Real family? What does that even mean? But there's more evidence of an intruder. Fresh footprints in the basement dust that definitely don't belong to my parents. Too small to be Dad's, wrong tread pattern for Mom's expensive shoes. And tucked behind the water heater, I find a crumpled receipt from Mel's Diner downtown, dated yesterday. Someone has been watching this house, and they know things about me that I don't even know about myself. My phone buzzes with a text from Mom. Rebecca, we need to talk. There are things about your adoption that you need to understand. Adoption? Adoption? I've never been told I was adopted. Every baby picture, every story about my birth, every family resemblance comment, all of it suddenly feels like lies. The message on the wall takes on a whole new meaning. Someone is trying to tell me something my own family has hidden from me for 28 years. If my parents weren't my real family, then who had written that message? I need help. And there are only two people I trust: my old college friend Daniel and my Aunt Carol, Mom's sister who's always been the family truth teller. Daniel meets me at a coffee shop downtown, and I show him everything. The journal entries, the ransacked house photos, even the message on the basement wall. He listens quietly, occasionally shaking his head in disbelief. Rebecca, this is insane, he says, but there's something in his voice I can't quite place. Concern? Fear? Are you sure you want to dig into this adoption thing? Sometimes families keep secrets for good reasons. His reaction bothers me. Daniel's usually the first person to encourage me to stand up for myself, but now he seems almost protective of my parents. Meanwhile, Aunt Carol comes through in a big way. She's been estranged from Mom for years over some family drama I never fully understood, but she agrees to help me search through old family records. We meet at her house that evening, and she produces a box of documents she's kept from Grandma's estate: birth certificates, hospital records, even some old correspondence. Your mother always was secretive about your birth, Carol says, rifling through papers. I remember thinking it was strange that she never let me visit you in the hospital, never showed me newborn photos until you were almost 6 months old. That's when we find it, a hospital record with my name on it, but most of the information is blacked out with heavy marker. What we can read is disturbing. There's a notation about special circumstances and a reference to someone named Maria. Quick pause. What would you have done here? Tell me below. When I show Daniel the file later that evening, hoping for his support and advice, his face goes completely pale. He stares at the paper for a long moment, then quietly hands it back to me. When I showed Daniel the file, his face went pale, and he didn't say a word. Time for Jessica's comeuppance. I craft a carefully worded post in our neighborhood Facebook group. Does anyone know what happened to Jessica Carter? She told me she was a senior associate at Carter and Associates, but when I called to congratulate her, they said she's just a paralegal. Hope everything's okay. Within hours, the post has 15 comments from neighbors asking questions, expressing concern, sharing their own confusion. Jessica's web of lies is unraveling in real time, and it's beautiful to watch. But my real focus is on finding answers about my past. Aunt Carol calls me Tuesday morning, breathless with excitement. Rebecca, I found something at the county records office. There's a sealed adoption file with your name on it, but I need a court order to open it. A sealed adoption file. So it's true, I really am adopted. She also found something else. A partial birth certificate with a different last name and a notation about protective custody transfer. The signature at the bottom is partially legible. Maria R. Maria. The same name from the hospital records. That evening, I'm reviewing my security footage from the house when I notice something I'd missed before. In the grainy 2 a.m. break-in footage, when the intruder reaches up to check behind a picture frame, their bracelet catches the light. It's not just any medical charm, it's a specific design I recognize from the hospital where I work. But here's the kicker. I enhance the image as much as possible. And that bracelet? I've seen it before. In the old hospital file Aunt Carol found, there's a photo of a young woman holding a baby. The woman is wearing the exact same distinctive bracelet. The woman in the photo looks familiar, but I can't place her. She has my eyes, my nose, my stubborn chin. And written on the back of the photo in faded ink, Maria and baby, protective services transfer. The intruder who ransacked my house wasn't trying to steal from me. They were trying to protect me, to warn me about something my adoptive family had been hiding for decades. Everything is connected. My parents' scheme to steal my house, the adoption secret, Maria's attempts to reach out, even Daniel's strange reaction to the documents. I had one final piece of evidence left. A birth certificate that shouldn't have existed. Time for the showdown. I text my parents. Family meeting tonight at 7 p.m. Oak Street. We need to discuss the house situation. No threats, no accusations, just a simple request they can't refuse without looking guilty. I arrive early and set up my phone to stream everything live to a private cloud account. Whatever happens tonight, there will be evidence. Dad and Mom show up with Jessica in tow, all of them wearing these patronizing expressions like they're about to have a talk with a misbehaving child. They still think they hold all the cards. Rebecca, honey, Mom begins, settling into my living room chair like she owns it. We know you're upset, but this arrangement is really for the best. You're not ready for homeownership responsibilities, and we can provide. Stop. I hold up my hand. Before you say another word, I want you to watch something. I pull out my tablet and start playing the security footage. Mom pocketing my baby photo, Dad measuring my rooms, Jessica taking pictures like she's planning renovations. Their faces go white as they realize they've been caught. You've been planning this, I say quietly. The journal entries, the coordination, the moving truck, all of it. Dad's jaw tightens. Rebecca, you don't understand the full situation. Then explain it. I slide the hospital records across the coffee table, starting with why I have adoption papers I never knew about. The silence in the room is deafening. Mom's hands are shaking. Jessica looks genuinely confused, and Dad looks caught. The adoption was necessary, Mom finally whispers. Your birth mother was troubled. We saved you from a terrible situation. Saved me or stole me? I pull out the photo of Maria holding a baby. This woman, Maria, she's been trying to contact me, hasn't she? That's who ransacked the house, who left the message in the basement. She's my birth mother, and she's been looking for me. Jessica gasps. Wait, what? Rebecca's adopted? Since when? Even Jessica didn't know. The web of lies runs deeper than I thought. That's when my phone buzzes with a text. I glance down and my heart stops. It's from Daniel. If you show them the birth certificate, I'll lose everything. Please don't do this. I look up at my family, and suddenly Daniel's strange reactions make perfect sense. He's not just my friend, he's involved in this somehow, connected to the adoption, to the cover-up, to whatever my parents have been hiding. But before I can process this betrayal, my phone buzzes again. Unknown number. Rebecca, it's Maria. We need to talk. The room spins. After 28 years of lies, my birth mother is reaching out right now, in the middle of this confrontation. The timing is too perfect to be coincidental. I look at my adoptive parents, who have been scheming to control my life, manipulate my independence, and steal my home. I think about Daniel, who I trusted with my deepest secrets, but who's apparently been protecting their lies. I think about Jessica, who's as much a victim of their deception as I am. And I think about Maria, who's been trying to reach me despite whatever obstacles my adoptive family put in her way. My phone buzzed. An unknown number. Rebecca, it's Maria. We need to talk. So here I am, standing in the living room of the house I worked 3 years to buy, surrounded by people who've lied to me my entire life, holding a phone with a message from the mother I never knew I had. The dinner that started this whole nightmare, sitting around that candlelit table, watching my parents smirk as they announced they were moving into my house, feels like it happened a lifetime ago, but it was only a week. 1 week for my entire world to crumble and rebuild itself. Mom and Dad are staring at me, waiting for my response to Maria's text. Jessica looks like she's about to cry. My phone is still recording everything, and somewhere across town, a woman named Maria is waiting to finally speak to the daughter she gave up 28 years ago. I have a choice to make. I can stay and finish this confrontation with my adoptive family, or I can go meet the woman who might have answers to questions I'm only just learning to ask. I choose answers. If you stayed till here, subscribe now. Don't miss what Maria says. I grab my keys and head for the door, my phone still buzzing with questions from my panicked family. But I don't look back. The address Maria texted is Mel's Diner, the same place where that receipt was found in my basement. She's been watching, waiting, trying to protect me in ways I'm only beginning to understand. I pull into the parking lot and see a woman standing by the entrance. She's older now, but she has my eyes, my stubborn chin, my nervous habit of twisting her bracelet, the same bracelet from the security footage. I step into the diner, and a woman I'd never seen before stood up and said my real name.